It's currently 5:30 a.m., and we're sailing through one of the most beautiful corners of the world here in the Gerlache Strait. The colors of this frozen wilderness are nothing short of extraordinary, an ethereal palette of blues and whites that stretch as far as the eye can see. The sheer scale of these ice-clad giants is truly humbling. The inland peaks of Antarctica pierce the sky, rising thousands of feet above us. There's an irreverent silence across this landscape, a quiet reminder of how isolated we are from the rest of the world. It's been one of the most profoundly beautiful mornings of my life, and the day is just getting started. Hi everyone, I'm thrilled to have you here for the third installment documenting our journey to Antarctica. Today we're about to embark on some truly unforgettable adventures as we sail northward along the Antarctic Peninsula. If you haven't had the chance to watch part 1 and part 2 of this series, it's totally okay. I'll link those below. For a brief catch-up, we're currently sailing aboard the Sea Spirit with Poseidon Expeditions on a 10-day voyage to the bottom of the world. We've experienced so much beauty already that, frankly, it's quite overwhelming. From orca whales to Gen 2 penguin colonies and historic outposts, this is honestly the most remarkable place I've ever been. But every good adventure has an end, so this will be the final chapter of my Antarctica series. So let's get to it. Before our wondrous morning sailing through the Gerlache Strait, my partner Maria and I had the unique opportunity to camp on the Antarctic continent, which we were actually quite nervous about. We were so exhausted from 5 straight days of adventure and filming that the thought of sleeping out in the freezing cold on top of the glacier honestly wasn't super ideal. But honestly, it was one of the most unique and beautiful experiences of my life getting to spend a night on the Antarctic continent. We were actually pretty warm in our sleeping bags that were provided by Poseidon, and the views made up for any discomfort experienced throughout the night. And now, after our little camping adventure, we're back aboard the Sea Spirit as she sails towards Gerlache Island, a small rocky lookout west of the peninsula with expansive views of the Gerlache Strait. The weather has turned a bit gray, as sunshine can be quite fleeting in this part of the world. But spirits are high, as George's Point, our next landing site, is known to have a lively Gen 2 penguin population. I've already become so comfortable with our daily routine of sanitizing our boots, boarding the Zodiac, and getting dropped off at a place I've never heard of that quickly becomes one of my favorite places I've ever visited. George's Point was much the same. Here, amidst the bustling activity of Gen 2 penguins, I'm filled with an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Watching these precious animals wander about on penguin highways and curiously approach our group of red jacket-clad explorers will never get old. Saying goodbye to the last large colony of penguins that we would visit was more challenging than I imagined, but an incoming storm on the Drake Passage necessitates us sailing further north for our last few adventures. As the afternoon wore on, the winds picked up and a gentle snowfall began to dust the coast of Enterprise Island. Visibility dropped as we boarded the Zodiacs, drifting into the icy waters of Foyne Harbor. Then, out of the haze, an Adelie penguin appeared, standing on the edge of one of the most striking icebergs we had seen yet. The world around us felt like it was closing in, a wall of fog, cold, and mystery. And then, without warning, the impossible happened. A pod of humpback whales, feeding on the bountiful waters below encircled our zodiacs. It was one of the most emotional moments that I'd ever experienced with my camera, watching these gentle giants approach our boats and then dive back below the surface. Nearly all of us were in tears from the weight of such a beautiful experience. Later at Foyne Harbor, we came across the hauntingly beautiful remnants of the Gorin. This old whaling vessel, lost to time since 1915, now rests quietly in the bay, its rusting frame a solemn reminder of an era long past. Yet, even in its decay, the ship has found new life, providing shelter for birds like the Arctic tern. It's a strange, haunting sight, a man-made relic in a landscape that otherwise feels untouched by human hands. As we depart the Antarctic Peninsula and chart our course toward Ushuaia, one final destination awaits us, Deception Island. This volcanic island has seen its fair share of history, even being mentioned in Ernest Shackleton's fabled expeditions. Sailing through the narrow entrance of Neptune's Bellows, we were greeted by the stark remains of an old whaling station, which Shackleton once thought might provide safe harbor to his crew if they could only reach Deception Island. What remains now feels largely overwhelmed by the surrounding scenery of the caldera, which is actually an active volcano. And for the last time, we departed the sea spirit for one final wander at the edge of the world, and to reminisce on this past week. As our Antarctic adventure comes to a close, I find myself filled with a deep sense of wonder and gratitude. This icy, otherworldly place has left an unforgettable mark on me. It feels like we've stepped into a different world, so remote and untouched that it's almost beyond comprehension. The landscapes here are like nothing I've ever seen, and the sheer beauty of it all is truly humbling. I'm so deeply thankful for the chance to explore this extraordinary place. It's been such a privilege to witness such raw and pristine beauty up close, and I hope that sharing this journey with you has given you a glimpse of the magic that we experienced. As we navigate the tumultuous waters of the Drake Passage and head back towards familiar shores, it feels like a bittersweet ending. This chapter of our adventure is coming to a close, but it's only the beginning of more polar explorations to come. So stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey. Until next time.